I think the knock on this was that, lyrically it wasn't like their strongest.
Hmm.
Um, but there's one line here, a couple lines where he says, "I've lived my life in the valley. I lived my life in the hills. I lived my life on alcohol, and I lived my life on
Right.
pills." That was telling.
Hey, you're watching Into the Music. I'm here with Greg. My name's Chris. And Greg, you got a song for me to react to?
Thieves Like Us by New Order.
Okay. We've done some of that stuff before.
We did one song, right? Joy Division, kind of a connection there. Well,
Right, right,
right?
right.
So yeah, so
But I haven't heard this one.
it's time for a new New Order song. So yeah, go ahead. So again, it's Thieves Like Us, and take that and run with it, and come on back and tell me what you think.
All right. Cool.
All right, cool.
And there's the heavy drums. It's called Love and It's So Uncool. I never heard it described that way.
All right, so I see you back.
Hmm.
So what'd you think about this song?
Um, well, what struck me first was I liked that drum pattern in the beginning. I don't know if they played exactly the same thing throughout the band, throughout the song, because I
Yeah,
was, I had a lot to pay attention to first time around,
yeah,
and it was just a unique pattern that the drummer was doing.
yeah,
Um, I gotta say, the song didn't strike me like the other ones that I know of theirs. This was kind of uh, I don't know, kind of like demure. Can you call it? Can you use that word term?
yeah, yeah,
I liked it, but it wasn't. I don't know. Like I'm used to them. Uh, with New Order, the songs I know, they're the drumming could be considered, prominent in this song, fairly prominent, but not compared to some other New Order
yeah,
songs.
yeah,
Um, so I think that's almost like when I listen to them, it's almost expected, you know. That said, the melody was good, and I liked how they used, I guess, synthesizers to get that bottom sound,
yeah.
um, more bass kind of sound, and the bass was great too.
Oh yeah, yeah. And those drums that you talked about, I mean, I remember that just jumping out at me. And then when I was revisiting the song, I love that beginning, and then it sort of turns into like a 2 minute sort of intro,
Oh yeah, it's quite a
it
yeah,
takes a while for him to start singing.
yeah.
And so I'm going to pull it back a bit, and your description or your sort of the way you feel about the song, right? And appreciate your honesty. um it's probably not unlike uh you know when I think back to when the song came out. It wasn't actually released in the United States by a label. I believe this was released as a single, just as a single, between
Hmm.
their second and third albums. And my understanding is that in the UK, it's something that, I don't know if it's still done, but it would be frequently done, and they were fine with it, and everybody was fine. United States record labels companies didn't like that so much.
So they
They
didn't
wanted it
release
from
it
an
as a
album,
single here
so they didn't release it as a single here, right? But
or put it on an album.
right,
Okay.
but now in some of the reactions we've done, right? I've mentioned WLIR, which was the big radio station that I listened to in the '80s with the new
Right.
wave, the alternative, and this song, and also went to nightclubs, and this
Hmm.
song, New Order. It would be surprising if you never heard, a New Order song if you in your 3 to 4 hours, 5 hours at the nightclub, and
Right,
so you
right
would
at that
hear them.
time.
And I remember the song coming on and being played. Although I don't really, compared to some of those other songs, more danceable other
Hmm.
songs, but still got a beat and all that, and LIR was playing it too. So and but I liked it. I mean, listening to it again all these years, it's just, I don't know, it's becoming one of my favorites from them. I also think too that at that time, and I believe it was 1984, right? That I think they started making that transition to like more of a pop sound,
Hmm.
going into more of the mainstream. And I think that, you hear when I listen to a song, I hear some of the old, like almost like they had the one foot in the back, in the past, and one foot sort of towards, in the future. Because I got to say that, as the '80s went along, New Order kind of sort of lost me. I thought a lot of this stuff became more light and more, you know, um, just more poppy and stuff like that, and
Hmm.
just personally less interesting to me.
Right.
But for some reason, this song just sticks out to me, and you know, I just
Could it be
really,
because it's
yeah.
nostalgic for you? I mean, does that's must play some part,
It's
right?
probably nostalgic. I mean, yeah, I mean, why not? Just the nightclubs and dancing to this and LIR and like I said, and yeah, but what's interesting too, so also doing homework on this, right? It's interesting. So they supposedly were big movie fans. And so this song title, Thieves Like Us, comes from a Robert Altman film. in
Oh,
1974, Thieves
really?
Like
Okay.
Us. Yeah, yeah. So I think that's where they took the song title. Um, and you know, I think the knock on this was that, lyrically it wasn't like their strongest.
Hmm.
Um, but there's one line here, a couple lines where he says, "I've lived my life in the valley. I lived my life in the hills. I lived my life on alcohol, and I lived my life on
Right.
pills." That was telling, right? Um, about, I guess, coming from the perspective of someone of being in a band, being a music superstar, or especially in Britain at the time, and we know all the devices, all the things that all the traps, the trap doors, for musicians, as they're just trying to come up with the next song and
Hmm.
touring and just the stress like that. And so it seems like he's definitely coming from experience, and so I've always found those lines to be interesting and stuff like that. But yeah, yeah, and this is what we do on this channel, because we're getting requests for another New Order song, and
Was this requested at all?
no, no, I don't know. I don't actually know. All
Okay.
I know, yeah. So I think I was actually
Okay.
more in my mind like this was
Yeah.
gonna be the next New Order
It's your
song.
request.
I know. So so give it to me, New Order fans. You should have done this one and that one, but that's what we do on this channel. We kind of give them both, right? Definitely hearing that, more New Order, and but personally, I was like, let's listen to this one. But I'm gonna definitely have my eyes and ears out for those next song requests, and the one that gets requested most, that's the next one we're gonna do for New Order. But
Yeah, we'll
I
definitely
got
get
this out
that.
of my system. I'm glad we got it out there, and I'm sure that there are New Order fans out there who are going to be like, you know what, I like this one too, and tell us about that, in the
Mhm.
comments. Would love to hear that. So, but cool, man. I'm really glad you listened to this. And again, more New Order down the road, right?
All
Definitely.
right. Sounds
Yeah.
good.
Cool. All right. And so I'm going to take us out and say, Chris, have a great night.
You
And to
too.
everyone out there, I really hope you had a good time. And if you did, hit the like button. And if you haven't yet subscribed, that'd be cool too. And with that said, we'll see everyone on the next episode of Into the Music.